So there was a year. I'm not going to say what team told me to do this, but they told me I needed to gain weight because I was too like just because I needed to take more hits or whatever, which was stupid. I should have never. So I gained like 20 pounds during the summer. So I played that season. I played that season, and during that season, I wasn't producing, so they traded me. So as soon as I got traded, I was like, I got to lose this weight. So I went on a strict diet and lost all the weight during the season.
I am joined by Rudy Gay. So excited to have you on here. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Today was my kid's last day of school, so they're happy. I don't know how happy I am though.
You're gonna have a busy off season, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
How many kids do you have?
Two,
Two? Boy
two
and a
boys,
girl, or
two
two
boys,
boys?
two boys.
Two boys. Are they gonna be ballers like you?
I mean, I hope so. I hope so.
Awesome. Well, I know that you've been in the league now for a minute, 17 years. What's that experience been like for you? What is the biggest things that you've learned about yourself over the course of those 17 seasons?
It's been a long haul. I've been up. I've been down. I've been humbled. I've been everything. I think I've lived three lives with the NBA. So it's been a lot. How much time we have? I could talk about a lot of it.
We have as much time as you need.
Okay. Nah, it's been fun though. I've said this before. I have the best job in the world, and I don't take it for granted.
So you're a rare combination of athleticism and skill with pure shooting abilities, and many describe you as cool, calm, collected in those tough moments.
Mhm.
Where did you learn that from?
Honestly, um, throughout my career, I mean, like I know it's cliche to say, like growing up, I always just like I would watch Michael Jordan and I'd count down in my backyard and just be like, five, four, three, and then shoot it. I couldn't leave until I made like five of them. And that's something I kept with me. Like even when I was a pro, I'd do it at the end of like my workouts and stuff. It's just something that I just comfortable with.
So just like over time, you just develop that. Because I know that even just in tough moments, you never seem to get flustered. And even when adversity hits, you always keep a positive mindset. How important has that been for you to be able to move forward into, the next day, next play kind of mentality?
Well, I mean, that's just something a mentality like growing up. I always had to, no matter what was happening, I had to get up and find a way. Growing up in Baltimore and being, in the family that I had, sometimes you just never knew what tomorrow was going to bring. So, um, I always was optimistic because I just wasn't I just wasn't a negative person. My grandmother actually was one of the most positive people I ever met in my life. So, a mixture of that. My grandfather was like one of those guys that just like whatever. I'll just keep working. He'll work through anything. So that was a unique combination that I learned from.
What was your childhood like?
Um, I grew up. Well, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I moved to Baltimore at a young age. With my mother. My dad soon followed. So I spent most of my life growing up in Baltimore, but you know, we went back and forth. But it was it was a learning experience. I wouldn't change it for anything. But you know, no matter what you've been through growing up, it makes you who you are. And sometimes it takes a little while to figure out who you are. But luckily I figured that out early.
Who are you? Like, who is Rudy Gay that we don't get to see on the court?
Um, just a person that likes to enjoy life, man. You know, uh, just like I said before, like I don't take anything too serious. I try to, go out there and work as hard as I can and let that show. But other than that, when I'm not on the court or anything, I'm just living life, trying to enjoy, my kids and my family and my friends.
I love it. And another thing about your game that I also enjoy watching. And I feel like a lot of the old school players have this mentality a little bit more is they don't really need to trash talk. And we see a lot of these younger guys out there chirping and saying a whole bunch of shit every single
Right.
game. And it's like, yo, like you've been in the league for a couple years. Like you haven't earned that right yet, you know?
I mean, at this point, it'll be me talking to a bunch of kids, so I just keep it to myself. But I never really was a good trash talker. I was always, I don't know. People would talk to me, and I just look at them. Growing up, I never really could talk. Like I really never could trash talk. It was like one of those things. Like you say things, I'd be like, "All right, do you want to fight?" Like I was one of those guys. So it was. I never really would talk. Like I would just, I know myself. I get too mad, so I just try to stay calm as I can.
Who's the craziest shit talker that you've played against? And has it ever thrown you off your rhythm at all?
My rookie year, KG. Um, he always tries to figure out whether people want to go for whatever he's saying or not. So it was one play where I got a dunk, and I screamed in the crowd. And after that play, he was. If you ask Kyle Lowry the story, because he thinks it's hilarious, so he was just sprinting towards me, and I'm sitting there like, are you gonna run me over? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I guess he was just like kind of like trying to figure me out. Like he was sprinting towards me, like he wanted, like he wanted to fight or something. I'm like, all right, whatever. So like he for a couple plays, he tried to figure me out. I figured like after that game, we played a couple more times. I didn't really have a problem from him because it's all about whether you stand up for yourself. I don't care whether it's basketball, corporate world. You got to stand up for yourself, and that's something I teach my kids too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Every time I ask someone the question of like the best trash talker, especially like, some of the guys who've been in the league the longest, they
Right.
always say KG. He just has this way of just get under people's skin. But it works for him. It doesn't
Yeah.
work for everybody. As we've seen, certain players, get the short end of the stick when it comes
Yeah,
to.
some guys need that to get their self into the game. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that person. So, like I said before, I really wasn't a talker. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, man, are we gonna fight or not? If we're not, then I don't take it serious.
Has anyone tried to fight you after a game?
No, that's the thing. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
I was talking to one player, not going to name names, I don't like to name drop, but he was getting someone was talking shit to him and he wanted to take this outside at that point because he was like, yo, like who are you? Like you haven't
Yeah.
even been in the league
You're
for
right.
like 5 years and you're sitting here talking shit to me.
I mean, there's time like there's a line. There's a line you can cross. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a respectful dude, and I wouldn't cross the line unless it's supposed to be crossed. But I just try to stay respectful with everybody, treat people like I want to be treated, and keep basketball for basketball. When that line's crossed, then we have to figure out a different way to settle this.
Yeah. Every former team, not every former teammate, because I didn't speak to all your former teammates. That would take a
Yeah.
lot of work. But for the guys that I have talked to, they do mention how respectful and how positive you are. One in particular that I wanted to mention is Derek Williams. I was able to talk with him a couple days ago. He's
Mhm.
overseas right now. And he said that you made such a tremendous impact on the player that he is today because you spent so much time with him one on one after practices, and you really helped build his confidence when he was playing with the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you when you hear that? Because a lot of veteran players, I mean, the ones that aren't in the league anymore, they didn't really care to build those younger guys up because they see him as a threat. You're going to take my position. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. But for you, like, how important is that as a veteran to be able to give back to those younger guys?
Well, I mean, by the way, Derek is one of the most talented players I've ever played around. Like he could do everything. I just try to lead by example and do what I can. I saw him in Minnesota before, and I was like, "Yo, this is your chance to, figure it out." And after practice, we'll do a couple things and work out. He'll ask me questions, and I'll try my best to um to answer them. And that's something that you didn't have a lot of in Sacramento at that time. So it's just trying to impact everybody the way I can and try to smooth over a lot a lot of things that were going on back then.
And for you now, I know you're also on a roster with a lot of young guys. Is there anyone in particular that you've really been working with in Utah?
Um, the beginning of the year it was a lot of lottery. We worked out a lot. But it's just everybody. Part of being a vet is just trying to give everybody or try to relate to everybody and try to give them as much advice as you can. And sometimes it's hard because you feel like you can go out there and play and do things, and when you're on this kind of team, it's more about the building the youth. So it gets tough, but you know when being around these guys and seeing them as people, not as basketball players, it makes you want to help them.
So I know PJ Tucker has made comments recently about how veteran players should get paid more because you're not only, helping develop guys on the court, but it's all the stuff outside of basketball, right? Like you're a mentor, you might be taking phone calls at all hours of the night, or someone might want to be picking your brain. What is your take on veterans getting paid a little bit more in that aspect?
I mean, I agree. I think it should be more veterans in this league right now. I mean, obviously there's a lot of good young players, but as you can see, it doesn't really always pan out to winning. You need veterans in there to teach you how to win. And I think this league would be a lot better if we have more players with more tenure on each team. To lower the learning curve. At the end of the day, this is one of the best leagues in the world. We want to continue to make it grow. And we don't want to water it down. You know what I'm saying? We need those people that have been through the fight to be here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we're seeing a lot of veteran players still to this day playing
Yeah.
at a high level and being able to mentor, younger guys. I mean, we see LeBron; he's still been playing all these years. What is your take just watching him at this level, playing the way that he is? And I know they got swept, but I mean, what he had 40 points, I believe, in 48 minutes, and just what he's able to do.
Well, I mean, you got to take your hat off to LeBron, man. He's what's this 20 years playing 40 minutes in a closeout game, getting 40 points and being able to still be healthy. That's the biggest thing. I mean, Father Time is undefeated. So like for him to be playing at this level at this tenure in his career is insane to me.
Did you think he was really going to retire?
No, hell no.
I didn't think
Come
so
on, man.
either.
Like to be honest with you, what could we see LeBron doing after basketball? You know what I mean? Like we've known about LeBron since he was 13 years old. So like for him to be gone, I mean, you know, it'll be crazy, and someday it's going to happen, but not after having 40 points in a closeout game. You know what I mean?
No, I don't even know why you said that. I'm like, there's no way that you're gonna go out without a farewell tour, without people, you know, wanting to watch you for another season. Like, kind of like what Dwayne Wade did. I mean, that was like amazing to watch every
Mhm.
single game. And that's actually the first time I ever got to interview him.
Mhm.
And I know that he's part owner of Utah.
Yeah.
Did he play a role in, I guess, bringing you to the Jazz? Have you
Yeah,
talked
a
with
lot,
him at
a
all?
lot of people did. He was that was a person I got on the phone with, and but this is an organization that's going through a change. So they're trying to figure it out, and obviously this is not the team that I thought I was going to be a part of, but it's all part of the process, man. All a part of my process in life. So whatever I'm dealt, I'm gonna make the best of it.
And then a lot of fans and media members, I mean, you've been dealing with media forever now. They like to place certain expectations on you guys, right? Like we're constantly hearing narratives. What were expectations that you had for yourself entering the league? And do you feel that you've reached those expectations for yourself?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel like I reached half of what I wanted to, because life happens, injuries, trades, situations. Um, it's hard to continue to be great in this league and play at a high level. On top of the fact that situations change. You know what I'm saying? So, um, like I said, I tell everybody, man, I'm like the Forrest Gump of the NBA, man. I've been everywhere, done everything, been high, been low. Um, Injuries, I mean, you name it, I've been a part of it. So, yeah, I mean, life happens, and although at this point in my career, I'm starting to appreciate what I've been through, but there's times in my career I'm like, try not to be a hater or whatever, or situations, but I don't think I was always dealt the best hand.
I mean, it's rough when you're going through some of those injuries that you had were extremely serious. I mean, at one point, people were saying like, "Oh, you might not be able to play again," and you were able to bounce back. And I know, probably looking, in those moments, you're probably down on yourself. You're probably
Yeah,
wondering like, "Am I going to be able to play again? Is a team really going to want me?" I mean, we've seen the same thing even happen with Jamal Murray, and look at the
right.
level he's playing at. I mean, he had a serious injury. He's asking coach like, "Are you guys going to bring me back?" And now he's playing at a high level. Like, how do you get through those moments?
Well, I mean, a part of it is mental. I mean, like 90% of it is mental. Um, it's crazy. After I tore my Achilles, I called Kobe, and obviously, rest in peace. One of the greats. Um, we we played USA together, so obviously we had a relationship. But if I had a good game or something, he'll reach out, or next time we'll always talk. But this was a different kind of conversation because I just tore my Achilles, and he had done it prior, like 2 years prior, and just asking him about the process of what because I'm currently going through it at the time. I've been down, I've been down on my luck and feeling bad, about myself, and had those questions whether I'll be able to play or not. And he was just like, man, look, what you want to be is whatever you think you're going to be. You know, I asked him, would I ever be the same? He's like, no, but you can be better at whatever you're good at. So he just put a lot of things in perspective for me.
Yeah, Kobe had a really good way with his words, and he always did such a good job at backing everything up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do you have any stories, playing against him?
I got a funny story. This was early in my career. My career. We were playing in LA, and there was a play where he was guarding me, and I'm a lot bigger than Kobe, so I caught the ball in the post, and Kobe's like, don't get, he was small, he was smaller than me, but he was strong, so like he didn't give up on anything. Like he's not gonna let me just post him. So as I had him in the post, I tried to put my shoulder into his chest. He reached at the same time, and my shoulder like went straight into his face, like his lip was bleeding and everything. So, so they called an offensive foul on me, of course. So we go back down court. You know, during the transition, I'm like, Kobe, you good? He doesn't say anything. So I'm like, I didn't think he heard me. So we go back down. I score, come back down. Someone gets fouled. So we're standing next to each other on the foul line. So I say, Kobe, I kind of got you good last time. Are you good? He was like, don't ever ask me if I'm good. Just kept going quiet. He proceeded to get 50 on us. So I was like, all right, like everybody has a Mamba story. That's my Mamba story.
I love it. I mean, anytime you hear a guy like him go silent, like he's about to go off.
You know how he gets. Like he paces and goes side to side. I'm asking him a question. Don't ever ask me if I'm good. What do you mean? Meanwhile, his lip is bleeding. I'm like, I was just trying to apologize, my boy.
He'll play through it.
Yeah.
He'll play through it. I mean, that
He'll
was
play
the thing that I loved. Like, I'll never forget, like, when he tore his Achilles and he actually had to go back to the free throw line to shoot a shot and made them both and just walked as if, like, he was fine. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how do guys, like, I just want to know, like, your guys are always banged up throughout the
Yeah.
year. You're always injured. Like, no one's ever 100%. And I just can't imagine having to play through that. How do
Yeah.
you guys do it? I know you say mental toughness, but like, there's got to be more to it.
See, I always say that. That's what people don't understand. Like, if you go to somebody that has a desk job, if they sprain their ankle, they can be out for a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we get flack for sitting out 2 games. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they hold us to such a high standard, but sometimes you gotta take we're human too. You know what I mean? And for us to play at a high level, I think sometimes we have to, although we're competitive and want to get out there, I think the people on the outside have to understand that, injury is still an injury. Like, I know some people that just can't take pain at all. And I look at them sometimes like, Me and my mom get into it all the time. She's like, "Well, I'm so sore." I said, "Sore? What is that?" Me and her argue about it all the time. But I remember, like she doesn't do this for a living.
You know, it was interesting because I used to do bodybuilding back in the day. I just did it for a couple years. But the reason I got into it is because I actually wanted to know what it felt like to put your body through so much, I don't want to say pain, but like reaching that threshold of like, can you even go for another rep? Can you
Right.
even run another mile? Like, can you do that? And I, like I said, 2 straight years of dieting consistently, eating clean, barely having cheat meals, working out in the gym 2, 3, 4 hours a
Right.
day. I wanted to know what that felt like, and I still kind of lead that lifestyle now, but
Mhm.
it made me appreciate you guys so much more because I'm like, yo, they're doing this for 16, 17,
Yeah.
20 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit, like this is crazy.
Man, I just ordered my kids a pizza and I was like, man, I had a bead of sweat coming down my brow. I'm like, man, I want a piece so bad, but I can't eat it. But you never know what your body's capable of unless you try it, unless you push it. You know what I'm saying? So for those people that have never done it, they would never understand.
I agree. Do you still follow a really clean diet? Like, do you at least treat yourself sometimes to pizza?
I try to. I have my cheat days, but you know, I'm weird about it. Like if I don't work out, I can't eat it. You know what I mean? If it's a day that I don't work out, I can't have a cheat day.
I'm the same way. It's a little crazy. So, do you have like a nutritionist that helps you with your meals, or do you
No.
kind of know at this point what to eat?
At this point, I just stay away from stuff I know I like. You know, I would say kind of like a paleo diet, but I just try to stay away from bad stuff, man.
So, what does it look like? Like, what is I'm interested. I love this stuff. Like, I love talking about like people, like, I love knowing guys' regimens because no one really talks about this. They don't tap into this side of things.
Okay, just a protein, maybe a sweet potato, and some kind of leafy vegetable like every night, some type of everything. And I switch out the proteins because I don't want to do too much of one thing. So just try to keep it like that. A cheat day, I'll just like any Italian spot I just go to and just order everything. Try to have less and less of those though.
Yes. I'm the same way. Sounds like we have like the same meal plan because it's a
Exactly.
protein and I switch it up or like rice, quinoa, sweet potato.
I'm telling you, like all these guys, like they paying all this money for these things. Just come to me. Just pay me half of whatever you're paying these people, and I'll be good. I just spread myself thin and to everybody and just give out my meal plan.
It's easy. It's
That's
actually
easy.
easy once you get started. And then like you work. Did you ever work with anyone, or you just kind of knew?
I did. I did. So there was a year. I'm not going to say what team told me to do this, but they told me I needed to gain weight because I was too like just because I needed to take more hits or whatever, which was stupid. I should have never. So I gained like 20 pounds during the summer. So I played that season. I played that season, and during that season, I wasn't producing, so they traded me. So as soon as I got traded, I was like, I got to lose this weight. So I went on a strict, strict, strict diet and lost all the weight during the season.
I'm appalled.
I
Like I'm like
mean,
really shocked
it happens more than
because
you think. Like, yeah, it happens. Got yeah, especially how I played. I just felt that's my knees were hurting. My whole body was like, I wasn't, at I had been like in the league like 5, 6 years at that time, and to gain 20 pounds and try to play at the same level was in one summer was crazy.
yeah, I bet. I mean, did you feel like lighter and a lot better after you lost all the weight? Like were you not as injury prone at that point?
Yeah, I mean, if you can see a dramatic change in the numbers after I lost the weight, so I'll leave that to y'all to figure out what team that was.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like post it with a headline and be
Yeah,
like, he says this about this team. Like
I don't care.
I'm not gonna do all that.
I mean, I'm not telling you not to.
So, I've also seen a lot of players talking about guys who play in the league who don't necessarily love the game of basketball. And like I
Yeah.
could tell about with you, I mean, the amount of years you've been in the league, you consistently take care of your diet. Like you genuinely love basketball. Like it is your life. There are some guys who they just are athletically gifted. They're tall. They can make somewhat of an impact, but they never get to reach their potential because it's just kind of like, oh, I'm going with the motions. I can get paid, whatever. Do you see it a lot in the league?
I see, yeah, I see it a whole lot. It's the crazy thing now is just people feel like they're entitled to things without putting in the actual work. It's hard being great. You know, if anybody sit down with LeBron and listen to his schedule, or anybody of that stature, it's not really nobody of that stature, but anybody below that or close to that, to see the work they put in, man, it's crazy. So you know, and the thing about me, I never really felt like I always felt like I was in an uphill battle. I always felt like I was fighting against myself, which honestly probably isn't the best way to think because I feel like I've like I said earlier, I have to start to appreciate what I've done. So I haven't had to sit back and fit and enjoy being here because I always felt like there was work to do.
I mean, I guess it's good though, never being satisfied because it's brought
Yeah,
you to where you are
yeah,
today.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
at 17 years in, I think that's pretty amazing that you've been able to be so consistent and disciplined. Like a lot of people lack just pure discipline where they can't even get up in the morning or make their bed or just like do simple
You
tasks.
know, and I have those days too. And as you get older, it gets harder. But you know, my plan is to try to compete with it for a championship at someday. So you know, I can't be lazy doing that, especially being an elder statesman now. I can't be that guy.
So you want to be on a championship team.
Exactly,
When are
exactly.
you a free agent?
After next year, so I have this year coming up. I have year 18.
And then you can decide where to go from there. I want to
Yeah.
ask like where you want to go, but I don't want to.
I don't know. It's,
I don't want to deal with that smoke.
we still have time, to figure out who's going to win it this year. But I think that the overall feeling is try to, at this point, 18 years in, you kind of want to play for a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have every right to want that and to feel
Yeah,
that. I mean, what else are you playing basketball for if it's not to win it all?
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
So that actually brought me to my next point then. Well, I want to ask if there's any players that you'd want to play with, but I don't know if that's tampering. Is it tampering might get you in trouble? But I kind of want to know.
I don't know. Like I've so I'm gonna take that and pivot to like the guys I have played with. So I've played with some pretty good players. I played with DeMar DeRozan, who was one of my best friends. Kyle Lowry, who's one of my best friends. Mike Conley twice. Well, Kyle twice too. LaMarcus Aldridge. Zach Randolph, Marcus Gasol, DeMarcus Cousins, Rondo. I played with a lot of players. So it's really not about who like to play with. It's really about where do I see myself fit. And it's even hard to talk about right now because I'm just worried about trying to fit in with the Utah Jazz right now. But that would be the biggest thing. Just where do I see fit?
So I'm thinking Miami Heat or Chicago Bulls, just off the top of my head. But
All
I
right,
don't know. I'm just throwing things out here. I
sounds
have no
good.
idea. But
Sounds
you
sounds
have played with some incredible talent. I mean, I
yeah,
don't. A lot of these youngins are never going to know about that Grizzlies team back in
yeah,
the day. I mean, that's where. I mean, that was a lot of toughness. That was a tough team.
yeah. It was, and it was fun. It was fun. Know what? That it was good that I started out like that because that set me up for the rest of my career. It's like nothing. I've seen everything.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
He obviously wants to win a championship, but I don't think he wants to leave Portland.
Mhm.
What do you do in a situation like that?
What do you? I mean, for him, I just, I'll just, and what do I see? And what do I see? Knowing him, knowing what I think about him, he's just going to continue to try to be great and let everybody else figure it out. If that organization doesn't figure it out, then it's time to make a move. I mean, we've always seen it. We've seen guys move and in search of trying to win. So I mean, You know, he's been loyal his whole career. You never heard him talk. You never heard him talk bad about the organization or nothing. So you got to reward him by having good people around him.
That's true. I
Yeah.
know that he does. He likes. I mean, he loves Portland. I think when you sometimes, I don't know. I have like mixed feelings with star players teaming up with other star players and going. I just think it takes like the purity out of basketball for some reason. It's like that love is just like, okay, we're gonna pair up. We're gonna go to like the best city with the crazy fans, and like I just it turns into like a reality TV show at this point. I don't know. I just what's
Wrestling
your thoughts on all that?
is like wrestling sometimes, man. It's like who's gonna go where, who's gonna play with who. Um, but we've seen that not work. So that that doesn't always work. It's all about the right fit, like I said. So you could team up with this guy, that guy, but doesn't assure you that you're going to win anything or get anything out of it. So I think the guys that truly, truly, truly want to win know who they want to play with. So that's all. That's all.
Another legend I have to ask you about, Carmelo Anthony, just
All right.
announced his retirement. I would have loved to see him win a championship. He's one of the toughest competitors that we've ever seen play. What is your relationship like with him when you heard the announcement and just your experience playing against him?
I mean, we're both in Baltimore, so we're pretty close. I've known Melo for over 20 years, and he's been somebody I looked up to growing up, and he's had a hell of a career, man. He's paved the way for me and a lot of other people under me. So he had a hell of a career. He's goated. He's going down in history as one of the best. So I mean, there's nothing I can say about him that nobody already knows. He's like you said, one of the best competitors, one of the toughest checks in the history of the league. He's just, it's Melo.
It makes me sad that everyone's retiring. I know it's going to happen at one point, but it's just like, that generation is just like everyone's
Makes
almost
you sad.
gone.
This is my era, so it's like everybody's gone now. Everybody I looked up to is gone. So it's like, you know,
It's sad. I think I read that in your draft class, it's you, PJ, Kyle Lowry, and I think Paul Millsap.
no, Paul Millsap's gone.
He's gone? I thought he still was playing right now. Or he
No,
was on a team earlier. So he's gone.
yeah,
So is it just you three left standing?
wow, it is. It is just us three.
That's crazy.
That's crazy to think about.
I mean, obviously you guys are doing something right. So you're on the right track here,
Yeah.
which is great. And then I'm sure you've also just heard today with Adam Silver saying that the 90s basketball started getting a little too intense and like that's where a lot of rules started to change. Would you agree with that or did you like that kind of toughness back in the day?
Well, I feel like I got in the league right when that started to change. So, watching those games, I don't know, like you can attest to this. Like growing up, I was too young to see like the Bulls, Pistons, and all that stuff. So, the furthest I know is like Jordan, like Chicago Phoenix Suns or something like that. So it's like and he made it look easy. So I don't, I don't really remember the. You see fights every now and then. Like it is like I don't think it was that bad.
So that's probably also why it's impossible for anyone to really talk about this GOAT debate, is because of like different eras. Do you even get into that? Like when you're with your friends or you're at the barbershop or somewhere and you guys are chopping it up, like do you talk about GOAT? Did you have those debates with people?
Well, I have my own goals, so it's like um, it's hard to put one person against another. They never played against each other, never. What I'm saying? And I never, I don't like putting people against each other. I think we all have see greatness in all of them, and to be able to be where we are now, each of them had an impact in putting the league where it is now. So there you have it. I mean, I'm an '80s baby, of course.
Gotta go with MJ.
Yeah, I'm going with Jordan. Not taking anything away from everybody. Greatness is greatness. But that's who made me want to play basketball.
You're entitled to your opinion, and you can make arguments for literally every player. Because I saw actually a video, and it's an old video, but it was Michael Jordan just talking about the GOAT debate and how he was saying that it's unfair to compare certain players to certain, generations. He's like, Bill Russell has, I think he had, what, 10 or 11 rings? And he's like, I only had 6. And then, just when people really want to say, oh, it's about how many rings you have. Okay, well, then it's Bill Russell. It's not Michael. But then you can compare generations. Like Michael Jordan played against a lot of tough players and tough teams. And then you can look at LeBron, who, didn't win as many championships, but he still played at a high level against some very good teams.
Well, how many? Like 9 finals or 7 finals or something like that he's been to every year?
LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, something crazy like that. And then
That's
other people want to say, oh, he didn't make it out or he got swept or, they always want to like find a way to discredit him.
Man, it's hard. That basketball is hard. It's hard. It's hard. And most of those people that say they have some type of say in what's going on ain't never played at this level. So you can't listen to that.
I listened to it. I mean, I didn't play at the level, but I also try to like be a little bit more understanding, like when I hear from players' perspectives, because I actually really love that players are like yourself. You are starting your own podcast. You're creating your own narratives, and we see this a lot now with JJ Redick, Paul George, and I admire you guys for doing that because it's finally like you guys are taking, I don't want to say the power, but you're taking the narrative into your own hands.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a new era, and people can now hear our side. We're used to hearing somebody else talk about what our game did or this and that or how we played, but now we have our own platforms where we can put out our own narrative, good or bad.
I see a lot of players create narratives. Not going to name names, but I mean, we see it all the time, and it works.
Yeah.
It gets the media going, gets the fans going. I mean, I see how it all plays. I mean, there's times I want to talk about it, and I'm just like, ugh. I don't want to get on anyone's bad side here, but I see what's going on.
I mean, it is what it is. When you put yourself out there, you open yourself up to many things. So,
this is true. And at the end of the day, all that matters is what you feel, how you feel about yourself and what you're doing.
Exactly.
So a couple more things, and then I'll let you go, and you can enjoy your time with your kids. So I saw also, too, the NBA is looking into changing up some rules with flopping. And they're going to maybe implement it into the NBA Summer League where if they see you flop during the game, it's going to lead to, I think, a technical free throw. I mean, they've tried to implement this before where they were going to fine you and nothing ever happened.
Look, the greatest players, the smartest players learn how to manipulate the rules anyway. So it's like, no matter what rule you're going to put out there, somebody's going to find a way to manipulate it, man. So does it really matter? No. People going to flop, Something like that's their discretion. Like, okay, I could act like somebody punched me in my face and knocked me out, and just I can look at them like that didn't really hurt, but yet I made you think it did. We have we have a team in Hollywood, so we gotta, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yep. No, I know. I mean, I didn't want to allude to that, but I mean, we see it all the time. And like I said, that's why I said it's almost like a reality show at this point with all the dramatics and the theatrics and everything that goes on there. Have you ever manipulated the game in a way to get a call?
You have to. Actually, it's a viral clip of when I was in Sacramento that it was a triple flop. It was literally a triple flop. We were all like sitting here and we all flopped, and it was like, yeah, I mean, it's part of the game.
I don't know why certain players deny it being a part of the game.
It's no, like, you can't deny that. Like, come on, man. We all like 6'9", 250 pounds. Like, a little push is not going to make us fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not injured.
No,
get up, play.
Yeah.
Another debate, or at least a topic that someone was talking to me about the other day, is talking about the center position. And we see, guys like Jokic, Giannis, Joel Embiid. And, I mean, they should be praised for what they're doing in the league right now. All three at least won one MVP. But I'm also hearing that, I don't want to say it's the weakest position, but some people are saying that it is the weakest position, and a lot of it is a sub. It's like they have sub skill set, and the offense just automatically runs through them, right? Like their numbers are automatically going to be inflated, but that's just one topic. But like I don't necessarily believe in that. Like for me, like I enjoy watching guys play like that, and I think that they are skilled players. But when you hear that, like, what is your take?
I mean, it's all coaching. If your coach feels as though playing through your center is best for the team, and the center produces, then it is what it is. Like some people have different skill sets. Some teams call for a rim runner, a guy that can play above the rim. Some teams, call for like Denver, call, Joker needs to have the ball and make plays. He's like point he's like point center. So it's like an MB, like he's all over the floor. Like, he's not the prototypical center, and Shaq gets on him all the time by not being in the post and doing all these things. But, I guess, the coach felt like that's the best way to win. So, it's all about coaching and playing to players' strengths. So, I don't think Denver wins if Joker's playing like your prototypical center.
I agree. And I think he actually did play a lot of point guard when he was growing up. I think before, at least when he was younger. I mean, you could see it in his game. I mean, you don't just
Yeah.
like learn that overnight. I mean, that's like a skill that you're developing when you're younger and over
Yeah.
time, like a willing passer. What has it been like playing against a guy like that? Like, how do you even stop him?
I mean, stop him. He he's their motor. So if it's no way to stop him. It takes a team to stop a team, and he's the motor on the team. So like everything goes through him. If you make him uncomfortable, which people haven't been able to do, I'm guessing that's the way you can get them out of it. But you also have Jamal Murray who makes them great because he's been playing well too. And you can't really focus on Joker at all.
Yeah, I would say those two are the best duo in the league right now. I don't think there's anyone that can
Yeah, I mean right now, yeah, I'll give you that.
right now in the playoffs, I guess.
Okay, there we go. It's only 14. So.
In the playoffs. I can't, yeah. And then what about a guy like Jimmy Butler?
Mhm.
Watching the way he plays, nothing phases this guy.
Right.
And it's incredible to watch. And like what we were talking about earlier with the trash talk, I mean, he was able to play on a team when he was first drafted, the Chicago Bulls. I mean, he was able to learn that toughness, and he brings that to every locker room he goes in. And if his teammates don't play at that intensity, he's going to ask for a trade, and rightfully so. What is it like watching, him compete at the highest level and playing against him?
Um, he's a competitor, man. He's he found his way to the right organization because the Heat embody what he does. They play through it. I don't think they've ever had anybody quite like him, but he is like the worker, tough, never give up kind of Heat player that they're used to having. Um, you know, the antics have been funny, during the playoffs and how he remembers things, and but that's part of the game, and we talked about that earlier. And but Jimmy's been willing this team, man. And with that being said, you can't take anything away from my boy Kyle because he's had a couple bad games, but to he's been the motor too because I'll be frank with you, he's one of those players too. He's not going to give up, and we saw that over his whole career. So um, you know, he embodies the Heat culture.
Do you talk to him every day still?
See, I don't like bothering people while they're working. So like during the summer, yeah, but like like I'm not going to tell him like, oh, you should have passed the ball here or whatever. Like I'll talk to him about something other than basketball.
What do you guys like to like? What do you guys talk about? Like, what do you guys do in the off season? Like, I'm interested in like just like stuff that we can't just see on the court.
Well, me and Kayla. So it was a point in time in our careers that we worked out together, literally like lived together in the same house and like worked out every day and drove to the gym together and everything. Like we played together twice, so it's like, and I've known him. We play against each other in AAU. He's from Philly. I'm from Baltimore. It's right there. So I've known Kyle for years upon years, and I do like we're comfortable enough to live with each other while we were coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love that. And I just have one more. Well, it's more of like a comment. or question, I guess maybe both. But like I said, I was reaching out to a lot of your former teammates, and one of
Mhm.
them, Damon Stoudemire, I talked to him. So I went to U of A, so I know a lot of
Okay.
these U of A guys. A lot of the, the older guys, I guess you could say.
Right.
And he had told me a funny story, and maybe you can attest to this. He said that when you first entered the league, that he had to get you into the clubs because you were too young.
Yeah.
Is this true?
So okay. Yeah, we went there. So he would get me into the clubs, right? And basically I just be his butler in there the whole time. Like, go get me a drink, man. Go get me a drink. I'm like, he did get me in here. So all right, he'll give me $100 and I'll go get him a drink, or whoever he's with. So I get like 3 drinks. So it'll end up being like $40. So I was like, all right, let me put the rest in my pocket. So I walked away. He put his arm on my shoulders, like, give me my change, motherfucker. Like, I'm like, hey, bro, you can't even give me a tip.
That's the least he could do.
Like, yeah, yeah, that's
Was that
that's
the
me.
worst of the rookie hazing?
You, yeah, it probably was. Like, it wasn't bad. I was a good rookie though. I was eager to learn, and just trying to be the best player I could be. And he helped me because I played with him for like 3 years, and he saw me grow as a player, and he always kept it real with me. Biggie is one of my favorite teammates ever, and we still talk to this day.
I think he also was able to coach you a little bit too, because I think he ended up being a somewhat of a coach on the
Yeah,
coaching staff with Memphis, I believe.
yeah. So we had a weird situation. So it was like it was Damon, it was Kyle Lowry, and it was Mike Conley. And it was like you had the older guy and Kyle, who was drafted with me, and then you had Mike Conley, who was like this third pick the next year. So like Damon still wanted to play. Kyle was trying to prove himself. And then we had this third pick who was like, we expect to play. So that didn't end well. So we traded Kyle, and then Damon became like our like a player coach.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
actually a really interesting story.
yeah, it is.
I love that. And then one other guy I talked to said that you changed his perspective on, I guess, the social life in Memphis.
Who said that?
Jason Thompson.
Oh, JT.
Yep. Jason Thompson said that you showed him, a different perspective for him. I mean, he actually really enjoyed going to Memphis when he was playing with you.
Memphis gets a bad rap, man. It's a city, and if you embrace it, they'll love you forever. I go back to Memphis, and people still talk about times that I've hung out with them. But it's that's basically I went there when I was 19. I left when I was like 26 or something like that. So it raised me, especially in my adulthood. It's like that's when I think of my path in the NBA, it has to start with Memphis. So I knew how to get around.
I bet. I bet. But yeah, it was awesome kind of just hearing from all those guys that you played with, and they all said the same thing. You're one of the most positive guys they know, that you can, you just always you have a good heart, you have a good head on your shoulders. So that's what I was able to take away, minus, the other little stories that they wanted to tell me about you. But overall, just a great guy. There's a reason you're still in the league. You work very hard. And I really appreciate you taking the time to interview with me today. Is there anything that I missed that you want to talk about?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We need you on the Speakeasy podcast. So there we go.
Oh, yeah.
You gonna come on?
I want to come on whenever you want me to come on. Yeah, I'm game.
I know what everybody hears that now. So know what? If they don't see you on there, that's on you.
Well, now the pressure's on. The ball's in your court now to schedule it, and we can figure out a way. Where do you record it?
Well, we record in Baltimore, but we can do something like this.
Yeah, like Zoom or
Yeah,
StreamYard. Yeah, I'm down. I would love that. Be a lot of fun. But again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
actually, no problem. Thanks for having me.